overall, I think this is a positive move on PGI's part. The community's part, I think if you haven't played, come back, give it a try. Now, is there any difference? Is there any other news as far as MWO goes? Hey, what's going on, guys? Phil here, and we are back with another Mechwarrior Online video. Today, we're going to be talking about PSR and the zero-sum changes that have came into Mechwarrior Online within the last few months. Now, for those that are unaware, we've had a few changes that you might want to know about. If you haven't played in a while, maybe you come back. I'd rather you know this than it just sort of smack you in the face. We used to have two separate queues. We have solo, which is strictly only solo individual pilots, even though I swear how many times some people thought there was groups in there. There wasn't. And that is you dropping solo by yourself. You're not in a group, and the entire 24 people in that match is almost only solo players. Okay. Then we also had group queue, which was from a 2-man all the way up to 12, and it would take different groups of different sizes and get matches together. So you could have a whole host of groups on both your team and the enemy team. Okay, so that's how it's been for a very long time. PGI then announced that they were having some population issues with Matchmaker and matches in group queue taking very, very long time to find. So what they did is they did a test month, which even though when it came out, we all sort of got the feeling that it wasn't going to be a test, that it was going to go through, and that was to combine solo and group again. Now, the first thing my concerns would be, but what about the outcome of matches being in control from the groups? And rightfully so. That's the first critique I had. Obviously, they saw that coming and they made changes to group sizes no longer being bigger than 4. They also made adjustments of the tonnage available. Now, of course, there was some little things here or there that they cleaned up, but overall, the test, at least on their end, was successful, and that's what they kept. Now, after that, one of the first things that the community pointed out, which was the match quality. And we heard this term being used by PGI, but also by the community, and albeit I believe there was 2 different definitions going on. So what did PGI do? PGI said, okay, we hear your concerns. We would like to make changes, and those changes are, we're going to do zero sum. They proposed and posted their changes. Paul specifically made a post. There was a big hubbub. The community said, no, that's not zero sum. Russ stepped in and basically said, how about this? We are going to listen to you, community. You post your ideas, your thoughts, your design zero sum. That happened. They approved the current one, and those changes went into effect a little over a month ago. Now, what are those changes? And that's specifically to PSR, Pilot Skill Rating. It's right here for those that don't know. So what does this mean, and how does it affect you? What it means is that we have a system that, depending on your performance, you will go up or down in PSR. Now, of course, how much you go up or how much you go down will depend on the outcome of the match. And within that 24 players, there's always 0 points left over. So again, if you perform really well, you're going to go up. If you perform really bad, you're going to go down. If you perform in the middle, you're probably not going to go anywhere. You may go up, you may go down, depending, again, where those numbers are. On top of that, what this has done is they've done a PSR reset for every player in the game. You start off at tier 3 and mid-tier 3, and then you can progress up or down. Now, I did a test live on stream. How long did it take me? It took me about 77 matches, and that was 95% of those matches were in the Mark II Bravo. And I did that for a specific reason. Yes, cheese mode engaged, but that was to see with a 1 mech where I know I can perform well, I know I can carry, and I know it's consistent, how long would it take me? So it took me 77 matches to get to tier 1, and that was just to tier 1, not to where I am right now. This is obviously going to be a different result for everyone. If you're doing groups, or if you're dropping solo, maybe you go down, maybe you go up. It doesn't really matter. I guess my point being is my results have basically shown me that the system does work. And of course, Russ and Paul did. Actually, Paul made a post that showed the averages of where people were as far as tier. Right now, because it's so new, you had very little on the tier 1, tier 2, huge amount of tier 3 pilots. And then, of course, it trended down. And obviously what they're looking for is a graph, right? A bell curve, right? The majority of players are going to be in tier 3. So obviously this hasn't sort of filled itself out all the way. Not everybody has played the game yet, and not everybody has got to where they probably will be in the long run. And of course, that's what he alluded to in the post, which was, we'll look at making any adjustments. And he said 3 months, but I think he meant maybe 3 weeks. Hopefully it's not 3 months. But what are my thoughts on the system, and what did I experience? I can tell you, when I first started dropping, I noticed right away that there were people in my matches that I obviously had a higher skill level at, and that wasn't just the aiming, but that was builds as well, positioning and so forth. A lot of the times I would see a mech in a setup and they would be remaining stationary. They wouldn't be moving. Now, this started going away as I crept towards tier 2. I got into tier 2. And then it really changed. I would say the biggest change happened, which was when Paul made that post about the bell curve. He said, now what we're going to do is we're going to restrict it to plus or minus 1. And what that means is if you're a tier 1 player, you will only be matched up with tier 1 and tier 2 players until 4 minutes of sitting in the queue. And then it'll open up to tier 3. Instantaneously, when this was happening, because I was streaming, I noticed a difference in the matches. I was having to pay a little bit more attention. So what does that mean? That basically means is I was going up against tier 1 and tier 2 players that, of course, skill level, because they're in that tier, they're going to potentially have a little bit more situational awareness, a little bit more skill when it comes to builds, and a whole host of other things. But at the end of the day, what that tells me is it's actually representative of where that player deserves to be. Now, I'm not saying, again, if you're a tier 5 player, do not feel bad. This isn't about that. It's about telling you what the system is doing and what I am witnessing. And so far, I've enjoyed the changes, and I think it's been a net positive. Now, so if you haven't played MWO in a very long time, I would highly recommend hopping on. Now, the changes to just overall matchmaker and PSR, and then the solo and group merger, what are my thoughts on that? I will say this. I'm still enjoying the gameplay. Do you still have NASCAR? Yes, you're always going to have NASCAR. Do you still have stomps? Yes, actually you have stomps at higher level. Even a good match. It's a battle of attrition, and sometimes it just stack pulls, okay? But I will say you may enjoy the experience in a 2, 3, or 4 man. Of course, playing with your buddies is always funner. And of course, you being able to coordinate is always going to make the outcome of the match a little bit easier to grab, right? If you have a coordinated 4, you know what you're doing, you have a pretty good influence, right? You are 1/3 the team. So you have a pretty good ability to control the outcome. So anyways, but if you're looking for people to drop with, make sure to check out the Twitch streams. Make sure to check out the Discords out there. And again, link to our Discord down below. You can come join us live when we're streaming this. I'm going to be streaming a lot of Mechwarrior Online. I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying the competitiveness that I've experienced with some of the tier 1 and tier 2 matches. That being said, I'm still enjoying all the other matches I get matched into, and I don't mind waiting a few more minutes, and I really don't think 4 minutes is that long of a time to wait, especially when you look at some of the other competitive games out there. 4 minutes is a drop in the bucket, and if that means 4 minutes and, you know, I get better matches, I'm okay with that. So overall, I think this is a positive move on PGI's part. The community's part, I think if you haven't played, come back, give it a try. Now, is there any difference? Is there any other news as far as MWO goes? No, at the moment there is not. I will be reaching out to Russ to see if he wants to talk about what's going on with Mechwarrior Online. Are we going to see any changes or additions or anything of that sort, I will be reaching out and I'll let you guys know about that. But guys, I just wanted to give my perspective on the PSR changes that I've experienced. And of course, you guys have been able to watch that live on our Twitch streams, which has been fantastic. I've even seen so far as individuals like MDM0 say, I've reinstalled or I've updated the game and I've been dropping because of you, Phil. So if anything, I encourage you to get back in there. It's the same thing, so just sort of keep that in mind. But if you can sort of put that behind your just put it behind you and just enjoy the game for what it is, because that's all we can do right now. You can only control what you can control. Just enjoy the matches and go from there. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. What is your experience of the PSR changes in solo and group queue? Let me know down below in the comments. It'd be awesome to hear from you. So anyways, guys, that's going to be it. Again, if you are new to this channel and you enjoy this, click that follow or click that subscribe button. We're not on Twitch or now, Phil. Click that subscribe button. And of course, if you did find this video informational or if you found it useful, make sure to click that like button. I know some people are always like, why does that matter? It tells the algorithm, yes, this is a video that others should see. So without further ado, guys, it's been a pleasure. I will see you guys on the next stream and, of course, next video. Until next time.